Is it Noah?
Yeah.
Hey, you ready to
I'm
read
not sure
those?
how I feel about the blue ammo.
Playing with it, it actually makes a heck ton of sense. Like it's not that weird. In fact, it's really nice for the charge rifle.
That would make sense.
Um, okay, so if you
Does
looked
the charge
over,
rifle now just use like one bullet?
yeah, one
Nice.
bullet, 4 in the mag. We'll get to it. So, New Legend, Revenant. Have you read anything about it?
I haven't read anything about him. I watched what is it? I don't know. That one YouTuber with Jack's Frags or something?
Okay.
Something like that, yeah. And I just watched his video. And I thought it was like, yeah, that kind of looks busted to me.
It's pretty cool. So
His Q scares me.
his Q. Oh, the tactical
Yeah.
silence.
Yeah. Like,
Um.
I wonder. I guess it
Oh, it
stops
deals
ultimates.
damage. I
What?
did not know that it deals
Yeah,
damage.
they're gonna have to remove that.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
But like that and the ultimate is insane.
Yeah. Well, okay. The ultimate's sick, but it's not quite as sick as I thought it was. So, okay, we'll just read
I don't
through it.
necessarily understand it
His
completely.
yeah, his passive is you crouch walk faster and you can climb higher.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So that's cool. I like that. Tactical. You throw a device. It works kind of like a smoke grenade. You throw essentially a smoke grenade that deals damage in an AoE and then disables enemy abilities for 10 seconds. It's not a giant AoE from what I just played. What would it be comparable to?
Oh,
I
I
would
thought Revenant was like a big, tall guy. I didn't realize he was. I don't know why he's low profile. I
because he
guess
has
he
a
must be
similar type
smaller.
of hit. He's real skinny like Pathfinder.
Ah, I thought
Uh,
Pathfinder counted as a big dude.
he's tall, but his hit boxes are really skinny, especially on his
Ah,
limbs. Um, and then his ultimate death totem. Drop a totem that protects users from death. Instead of getting killed or downed, you will return to the totem. This is the kicker. When you return to the totem, you have 1 health.
yeah.
So
I thought that looks pretty good.
it seems really good, but I don't know that it's overpowered because of the fact that you're at 1 health.
I mean, in the Jax Frags video I saw, he actually had shields when he returned to it. I think,
Oh, really?
if I remember right. So yeah, like you'll have 1 health, but you'll have all your shields.
Okay.
Like they had to just use a med kit.
Interesting. Okay, so that might make it a little busted. That might be a bug though. Do you have when you're in the effect of the death totem, do you have shields?
I think so. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't be
I don't
surprised
know.
if
I
that's
can
a
like pull up
bug.
the video again.
I have a feeling that's a bug. Um
Hey
okay.
everyone, hope you're doing.
Weapon, Sentinel. The Sentinel is a bolt action sniper rifle effective at medium to long range. If a player presses the fire select with a shield battery equipped, the Sentinel will consume the shield battery from your inventory and temporarily enters an energized state. While
Yeah, I saw that. It
energized,
looked super dank.
the Sentinel fires projectiles that deal extra damage to shields.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
was
so
in the
with the
video
death
you
totem, it's actually ignoring shields when he's using the death totem. So you have like less. You only have your health.
only have your health. Okay,
Yeah, but
so
when you
that's
get
not
back, you'll
terrible.
have your shields. Like when you come back to life, or whatever.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
Um, map update. They've added a new area called the Planet Harvester, which I have not been in, so I cannot comment on that. Capital City has a big old rift through it.
Yeah.
That's Capital's actually pretty cool. I played a little bit in it. It's kind of cool. However, it's also sniper. It just snipers everywhere. So because there's this big open area between the two halves, and people are having fights in either half, and you can just pick people off with sniper rifles from the opposite side.
Nice.
Because I was doing that with a charge rifle, and that was fun. Updrafts in the fissures, you can jump into them, and you'll be carried back up in the air, kind of like a jump. But you'll take damage. Survey camp, I have not been in that, but it's like kind of in between Epicenter and Skyhook. I have not encountered the weapon racks, but those are in survey camp. Okay, so new loot, sniper ammo, and there's 10 shots in each brick. The goal here is to create a
and
deeper...
stacks 20.
Yeah. No, stack is 20.
Yeah.
Our goal here is to create a deeper, more balanced long-range meta. Since snipers shared ammo types with SMGs and LMGs, there wasn't a great way to put ammo scarcity on sniper rifles without really penalizing the more ammo-hungry weapons that use the same ammo type. So for Season 4, we've added a new class of ammo that only applies to sniper rifles that we hope will have players being careful about the shots they take and limit how long they can pressure targets at long range before having to reposition. All the new sniper ammo type includes Sentinel, Longbow, Triple Take, and Charge Rifle. I don't think the Charge Rifle takes the new Sniper mag either, because since they're not using the respective ammo type, they're using a Sniper mag now. Extended Sniper mag. Energy ammo now gives you 30 ammo per brick instead of 20.
Nice.
Did you hear about Turbocharger?
Wait, what did they do to my boy?
They removed Turbocharger.
No, I just like you said. Did you hear about Turbocharger? And then I just see removed loot under energy ammo. And it's like, no, why?
Okay, so it's not that bad.
Yes, it is. It's the end of the world, dude.
There is no Turbocharger anymore, and there's no extended energy mags. Also, they added a UI update to make it so that it's obvious if you're being rezzed by a player with a gold backpack. But to get to the energy weapons, because they drop that bombshell on you, like Turbocharger isn't a thing anymore, and then don't explain it. So the Devotion is now, I believe, the Devotion now effectively has the Turbocharger built into it, and it's a drop weapon now. It's replacing the L-Star. The L-Star is now a normal drop.
Bruh.
And you don't have to reload it.
You're telling me that we're not even going to find the Havoc around the map anymore? It's just
No, you get the Havoc. The Devotion.
Oh.
A fully kitted Devotion is now one of the drop weapons.
Interesting.
Which I think is fair. And it has a magazine size of 54.
That actually does make kind of a lot of sense, because like, who even used the Devotion if they didn't have the Turbocharger?
Right. Well, and a fully kitted Devotion was way better than an L-Star.
Yeah. So how does the L-Star work then?
It's no longer a crate weapon. It uses energy ammo. You don't have to reload it anymore. It just has a big ol' like belt mag effectively. And it will just overheat, and it'll do the reload animation if you overheat it. Damage has been reduced by 1 per shot. Rate of fire has been decreased by 2.
Also, they made it so you can't put sniper optics on the G7 anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Fat F.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I'm also the dude who for forever used the 2X on a longbow, so
I'm kind of sad, but I mean, honestly, probably just gonna be good because um the sniper optics really just weren't that great for it.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so our boy the
They'll
Havoc,
make the ×3 used a lot more probably.
probably. The Havoc no longer requires the turbocharger. Not requires, no longer accepts the turbocharger, but can still equip select fire. It decreased the amount of time between select fire shots, so you can pop them off quicker by
Good.
a pretty decent margin. The previous duration was like 0.77 seconds. Now it's 0.56. So that's a
Wait a second. Is there gold magazines now or something? No, never mind.
magazine.
I'm retarded.
And they also are buffing it by reducing the horizontal recoil, which I thought it basically had 0 horizontal recoil, and now they've nerfed that. It's just going to be straight up. Like,
Nice.
literally straight up. So I think it's just going to end up being, sure, you have a wind-up time. Sure, you have a wind-up time, but it's literally just straight up recoil. It's just going to be the most accurate AR. Okay, here's the thing that I'm worried about. Oh, also, apparently there was a bug with iron sights where normally your weapon sways around a little bit, but if you have a sight, your reticle stays directly in the middle. However, there was a bug on several weapons where your iron sights, the reticle would not stay in the middle. It would sway with the gun. So they could be, your reticle with iron sights could be slightly off compared to where you're actually aiming. But they've since fixed it on a list of weapons that they have on the patch notes. G7 Scout moved it, still accepts double tap. Reduced fire rate. Increased time between shots for double tap. Fixed a bug where it had 0 ADS air spread, which is scary. I'm glad I didn't see very much of that.
Okay, something I don't like just about like Apex in general is how, like, I'm looking at right now is the gold weapons thing. Yep. So from what I understand with that, they're taking out the old set of gold weapons you could find and putting that in.
Yes.
My problem with Apex is just like how they'll remove something and just put something in, even if it else in, like to replace it, even if it's temporary. Like, it's just to artificially make it so that there's something new happening, when really they're not like actually fully like they could have all the gold weapons in still, but they're not doing that. They're just keeping some of them away so that next time they can have a different set, just so that like something new can be happening.
Okay, no, there's more of a reason than that. The reason why they change it a lot of times is because, like, as an example, previous season, they had the set of weapons that they did because they wanted to show off the new hop-ups. So they had switched everything so that it was things like the Scout and the Eva because they got new hop-ups. And the Flatline, I think, was also there. So now they've added things like the Sentinel. They've reworked the Havoc. So that's there. P2020 is just still there because have they done the gold P2020 yet?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so. So
I haven't seen that.
It's just like its turn. Prowler they haven't done yet. And then R301 they're bringing back a gold weapon that people really like.
So like that doesn't contradict my point or anything though.
No, the reason is they want to use the gold weapons to display something that's new generally. And if it's just the entire pool, well, what's the chances of you getting that new weapon in gold?
Well, why take out, like, say the Eva right now? I mean, well, it's like this. I don't know. It's,
I guess
you can find the hop-ups around. Like, there's gonna be the opportunity to find the stuff. It just seems weird that I don't think that's a good enough reason to justify that. And also,
I can say
it's
the
like
same
with
for your point. I don't see the reason why they need to have all of them at the same time either.
So that you can find them and use them?
But
like
why?
So that you can play with them. Like,
so
so
what?
you can kill people
you can just
and win
find
the
the
game
stuff
with
too.
the different weapons.
Like, the same point goes.
No, that's not the point I'm making. You saying that they're making the gold weapons like certain sets so they can show off things for those weapons isn't good enough reason to just have those weapons.
Okay, I mean, if you think so.
Because you could just like have all of the gold weapons, and you could find the hop-ups for the new stuff.
Okay.
Okay, but look, it's also like with the map. Like, how are we still only playing? Is World's Edge still all that's available?
At the moment.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, that's a better example. And I've talked about the map a lot. They're just taking away the map and making us play this one just so that there's like to spice it up or something artificially, even though the map, like King's Canyon, exists, but they're not letting people play on it.
Well, not yet. They are going to.
But there's no reason why we shouldn't have been able to play King's Canyon this entire time, except for that's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, think about
they're just
the
trying
amount of
to
players
make it.
They're gonna get when people are like, "Oh, dude, King's Canyon is back." When if King's Canyon was there the entire time,
that's what they're doing, and I have
leave.
a problem with it because it makes it so we can't play King's Canyon this entire time.
Okay, but it means they get more players. It's business.
Yeah, I know it's a business, but it's crappy business. Like, it's not cool. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Like, I know there's a reason for it, and I know why they're doing it. But there's a lot of people that agree with me on the subreddit about this. Well, not necessarily like my point. I haven't actually heard anybody talking about what I'm saying, but there's people that are upset that they haven't gotten to play King's Canyon in a while, along with me.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like the whole practice. It's like where they're just making things unavailable and then making something else the only thing that's available.
Well,
when they like have the resources there, like
I think it's more than that, though. I think that's kind of just selling it short for just being like, oh, they want to restrict it for no reason. There's reasons behind what they're doing it.
Well, I know what the reason is, but it's a really crappy reason. Like, it's not a good enough reason to justify like taking a map out of the game that people would like to play.
Well, I've already talked about this with you.
Yeah,
having multiple maps.
Right now, I'm recording, so that's another reason I'm saying all this again.
Yeah. And I'm recording as well. But like, just splitting, having two maps could very easily split the player base, or have.
I don't see how that would be. Like, at this point, like, World's Edge came out in season 3, and I honestly didn't have like too much of a problem with that. Like at first, when World's Edge was the only map, like I still kind of want to play King's Canyon, but it's like, okay, probably next season, like at the start of it, we'll get King's Canyon again. And we might get I think we're gonna get King's Canyon at the race station or something, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be halfway through.
At this point, they should just have it so that both maps are in the queue, and it just chooses one when you go to play.
I personally hate that. I don't like.
I mean, it's like that in almost every other game ever. It's like you're just like, all right, I'm gonna play the game, and then it puts you on a map, like Call of Duty, CS:GO, Halo. Like,
well, not CS:GO.
Like CS:GO, you can change it, but I guess you choose between a bunch of different ones.
I really prefer that. COD's different. You have so many game modes in that you wouldn't be able to do it that way. There's so many different queues. Restricting it then by map, which it also has a whack ton of maps as well. So that's a different thing entirely. But like same thing with like the way like CS:GO does it. For a while, they had to take Dust 2 out of the comp playlist because there was just so many people just playing Dust 2 that they wanted to, you know, give the other maps some play. And I think the
I
reason
mean,
why they
that
don't
totally makes sense. And that's competitive mode, so I feel like they can pretty much do what
Right.
they want with the maps.
right. And I think
Like if Apex only had one, like had both maps in hypothetically, and then if you played competitive, then it was just say World's Edge and not Kings Canyon, then I'd be fine with that. Because there's
Fair
still a
enough.
way to play Kings Canyon, and it is competitive mode. It has to be balanced, so there might be reasons behind it.
Fair enough. Yeah. If it was like only casual, I still don't really like that just you join and it's a random map personally. But if it was just casual, I guess that's the best way to have it. It's the other thing that's kind of an issue with that, even if you are just doing casual, is that if you're a new player and you join and you're just jumping into casual and you're playing, you have this big old map, you have World's Edge to try and figure out and memorize the locations of. And then you play like 2 games on World's Edge, and then all of a sudden you've got a totally different map that you have to try and figure out the drop locations of. So
I mean, that's not really. I don't think it's good enough reason for it either, because
well,
you're
I'm
gonna
not
have to
saying
just
it's the
like
best
learn it
reason, but it's
anyway.
something you have
But
to consider because
yeah, I
lots of
don't.
games
That's not
don't
why
do
they're
it.
doing it though.
No, and I'm not saying
Like,
it
let's be
is.
real.
Yeah,
So,
no.
and if that like was a good reason, then there is also like there's only 2 maps so far. They could honestly like they could split the player base. Like it's Apex Legends, it's super popular now. They could have it so that you could queue for a specific map, and people would be playing both of them.
Maybe queues might be long.
Queues would probably be a little bit longer sometimes, but
Well, I
it's
mean,
like
just think
if
how
it
hard it
was
is
a
to get in the comp
problem
match.
not being able to choose which match, then or a map. I mean, it's better in my opinion to like have both maps in and have it so that like uh maybe it's harder to play on the map you want because of what is it, like wait times or the random selection between the two, than the map not being in there at all.
I think there are some pretty reasonable reasons to keep it, especially just like casual players that like don't get to play that much. Maybe if you're just trying to learn the game, those longer queue times add up a lot. Like if you're just hot dropping and dying within 2 minutes, and then you've got a 2 minute queue, kind of
Maybe
dumb.
I'm not sure really that the queue times would really be affected that much. Like maybe they would be, but I'm not really convinced.
Dude,
Like
there's only
say
one
the
way to
queue
find
time
out.
was twice as long as it is now for casual. That's still basically no time at all. Like what? We're waiting like 20 seconds and we're in a game.
Well, and we're assuming that they're keeping only one map in the comp pool, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Because like if they had 2 different maps in the comp pool or whatever, or if you like chose between one of the maps in comp, then the wait times would probably be a lot longer. Yeah. I
Yeah,
assume
I
that a
mean,
lot less people are playing comp than casual because of the wait times.
I can once again, I think the biggest reason behind it is marketing. I think the way they market this game is so thought out that every bit of hype they can get, they use. So whether it's the gold weapons rotating, or there's a new character, or there's some stupid PR thing they pull, like they kill one of the legends that they said they were going to add, um, or like the map's changed, or there's a totally different map. stuff like that. Or a new old map coming back. I think they're using all of that they can, even if it means that you can't play the map during that time. I think it's just all PR. Sure, they could add it. Sure, there's probably some downsides to it, upsides to it as well. In the end, I have a feeling it's just marketing.
I understand like the reasons behind it. Like it makes sense and it's probably good for them. I just don't like the practice and the way it is actually playing the game.
I don't have a problem with it, but obviously you do. So
it's just like if I have a criticism of the game, it's that, honestly.
But that's like, honestly, that's like the best criticism they could have. You just want more stuff. Right though?
I mean,
you just want more of it.
I don't know if that's necessarily the same thing as what I'm saying, like
yeah, I know,
being like there isn't enough stuff in the game, but it's like, yeah, I want to like play, I want to have the stuff that's in the game be available in the game, basically.
Yeah.
Like I want to play on the map that's in there. So I suppose that like, yeah, it's a good criticism to have, but like it's still something that they're doing wrong, so my opinion.
In your opinion, yeah. Cool. Wait, was there anything else that we just like skipped over on the patch notes? I feel like there. Oh, the R99 buff. Why?
Oh yeah.
Why the
well,
heck
they turned down the
buff
damage, didn't they?
Yeah, but they gave it more ammo.
Yeah,
Well,
by like 2 bullets.
I guess only at the early levels. For some reason, I was thinking they increased it. Why did they even bother with the epic one? There's no difference. Why did they include the epic stat? But okay, that's actually decent. It's not a. I wouldn't even. It might be kind of. Does that even affect though how much?
It seems like just kind of very minor changes. Also, I don't really have a problem with. I don't actually like have a problem with the turbocharger going away. I'm just kind of like being funny about it, because it's still like kind of in the game. Like you said, it like the fully equipped devotion like basically has the turbocharger, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, they screwed up, but I believe they do.
Yeah. So like that's like it's still in the game. It's just accessing it is harder, basically.
Yeah. Which I think the devotion being a drop weapon makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually see if the devotion has a turbocharger. They've rearranged the firing range. Oh, there it is. Hello. Oh yeah. It has the turbocharger built in. Epic.
Can you see the turbo on it?
No, there aren't any attachment. Like it doesn't show.
Didn't think so.
I'd be curious. Dang. I'd be curious to know what kind of barrel stabilizers on this. Like whether it's a gold or if it's purple. I'm dying. Ick.
Why did you try to swallow so much chili powder or something?
Yeah, right. Other note on the devotion, it has a 2x HCOR.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a good sight. But they didn't just like workshop it so that you could just be like, oh yes, 1x threat sight on a devotion is fine.
Nice.
Because that would have been oof. What was the other thing that got changed that I wanted to see? Oh yes, Senior L-Star. Oh yeah, it's literally just a freaking like belt. It's just like it eats whatever energy ammo you have in your backpack. Which is good. That's the way it should be.
I've still, according to this, got like an hour on the update. So
Oof.
might just not play tonight. I don't know. I have a question. I'm pretty sure you would, but would you have a problem, say, if they like restricted certain legends in a season and like only let you play specific ones?
Like,
Because
if
like that's a more extreme version of kind of this kind of stuff I have a problem with.
Hey Noah, stop talking to Isaac. He needs to
uh
go eat food. He's been yelled
shut up,
at like
Zeke.
20
Shut up.
minutes straight.
Um,
No, you shut
would I
up.
have a problem with them restricting it?
Yeah, like say
Uh,
like in one season they only had like
well,
I
okay,
don't
so
know,
you run into a
3/4 of the
different
legends available.
you run into a couple different things there. First thing you run into is you're restricting the ability of players to use items that they bought. So like skins and such. So that's a little bit um also there isn't enough legends that I think that would be necessary. Now, if they had, let's say they have like, how many legends would it take? Let's say they have like 30 legends. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with them being like, okay, we're gonna take out like 5 of them. And honestly, I think they would only need to do that for like comp. Like if they were like, okay, so these guys are left
So
out of comp for a little bit while we work on them or whatever.
so like say there were like 30 legends and there weren't skins that you bought with actual real world currency,
Okay.
and like they removed some from the casual queue, like would you have a problem with that?
From only the casual queue or both?
Well, maybe both, but like you said you might be fine with it in competitive, but I'm wondering about the
Yeah.
casual.
Whether or not removing them from casual. If they were just like, we're taking them out, we're not telling why, and there wasn't like, it didn't seem like there was forethought, it was just we're taking them out, I would have a little bit of an issue with it. If there was like a story reason, I'd be like, okay, fair enough, artistic, artistic license, whatever. But if they were just like, if no reason given, just patch comes out, 5 legends are just taken out, no answer of whether or not they'll be brought back, yeah, that would be dumb.
Hmm. It was a good point that you said, like, because people do spend actual money on the characters, so like that's definitely a reason not for them to do that. Um, but like, what about just like the fact that people are spending money just on the game in general? Like, even though they're spending it on the characters, like,
Well, but then you can make
is there like a certain amount that they could change the game that you would feel like would be problematic because it like changed why people actually bought the skins? Like people buy the skins and stuff like when they enjoy the game and like to play it.
okay, but so the issue there, if it's the point that I think you're trying to like add to this, um the line I would dare say is when they're directly changing the thing that was actually purchased. So like if you purchase a skin, if they then change the skin or if they remove the skin, for example.
What about like the character or
But
something?
if they like change the weapon, I think that's kind of just like I don't see how the game can like survive if you don't allow them to change weapons as soon as they have skins for them.
Like, well, how much are you saying change? Because I don't think like they nerfed the wingman, right? But
Yes.
it doesn't like completely change like what the wingman's about. Like
Okay.
the difference between like changing a weapon and changing a map is like two different things. Like when you're talking about it like that.
Okay. So wait, what are we talking about?
Basically, there's changing like a weapon that has a skin on it, or changing a character, and then there's just like completely changing them.
Well, if you're completely changing them, you're removing them.
I'm not sure I agree with that. Like,
Well, like if
I've
you've
ranted about this a
changed
lot.
everything about
What
them, then they're
about
not there.
Mercy in Overwatch and her
Well,
ultimate?
that's Blizzard, and they're all idiots.
Thank you. Yeah. So, like, there was that instance where they basically like changed her ultimate.
Okay, so they're changing
Something
the ultimate.
equivalent with a weapon, maybe.
I honestly, the Mercy thing, it's dumb. And it's like literally the worst decision that they made, like could have made. But if it was required to balance the game, if they felt that, I don't hold it against them. Should they have made different changes? Yes.
I
That was
hold it
the
against them
dumbest
so very
idea.
much.
Well, yeah, but you also played it and you're like invested in that. I'm
Yeah.
not invested in Overwatch at all. I don't see a reason of why, they made a balance change that screwed everything up as a reason of saying, well, that means we can't do, you can't make balance changes like that ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the problem with like balance changes, but it's like when they change like what the core of something is or whatever.
Well,
And-
maybe that.
And I mean, it's
busted.
way worse with Overwatch too, because you actually have to like, what was it, like $40 or 40 to 60 for Overwatch?
Well,
Like you actually bought the game, and then they changed stuff to an extent where you don't even want to play it anymore, which is basically what happened to me.
well, and that's a different thing to a certain extent. I feel like it's a fair case that possibly if you just buy a game outright, that updates maybe aren't the best idea in the way of balancing the entire game. Like I just don't see that being really a reasonable thing when you're making big sweeping changes like that. Because obviously you're changing the product that the person has already purchased. So that's a little bit different. If it's a free game, whatever, just don't change the stuff that people buy super drastically. But
Like honestly, the only reason I don't have a bigger problem with Apex changing stuff or like keeping stuff out of reach for the time being, like the map or whatever, is because the game is free. Like
right.
I'm not even sure that I feel like I can even criticize them for all this stuff. Like from a gameplay perspective, I feel like I can, but like I can't necessarily criticize the like the practice, like the business. Yeah. Because it's a free game, so they can pretty much just do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah. Which I think is the way it should be, personally.
Like I mean, I guess to an extent, because like I bought the last battle pass. You've been buying battle passes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're like paying for stuff in the game, I guess, with the expectation that it's gonna like be Apex Legends, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's
But
gonna
also,
be the same game.
if you look at it in the way of battle passes, you're essentially just saying, I'm buying the game for this season. You know?
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, overall, I think it makes a lot of sense for competitive games that need a lot of balancing, especially multiplayer games. Well, what non-multiplayer game is competitive? Guitar Hero.
What?
I was trying to think of a game that's competitive but not multiplayer. Although Guitar Hero can be multiplayer. But I think it's just like a lot better practice to make those free to play. Because then you can make changes that you feel are necessary to balance. If there's some like character that's absolutely busted and needs to have like their kit reworked, you can do that. Like think about although you didn't play much in the way of MOBAs, like League and Dota, they rework characters all the time, especially League. League reworks characters like nobody's business. And they're fundamentally changing the way the character looks, the way the character plays. And
That's
yet,
just
yeah, I know, it's like, it sounds kind of outlandish, but since it's free, it's fair enough, in my opinion.
yeah.
Now, that one gets a little bit more dicey, though, because they are actually changing skins in that case, which I think is weird as heck. But they're in an interesting position because the game's been around for so long that their graphical style has changed. So they have to rework all the characters because, I don't know, you've seen old screenshots of League, right? Where,
I mean,
like, all the
maybe.
models look like Warcraft 3.
I don't.
Okay, so it used to have this really saturated, slightly dark cartoon style. And as of, I don't know how it's been quite a while back, but as the game has developed, they've changed the art style to a more, almost like a kind of muted Apex. Like Apex
Muted?
has some, yeah, it's not, like Apex has kind of the Borderlands style of like hard edges and like dark outlines on everything. Imagine that, but without the dark outlines, is kind of the way League is. But it's similar with like the way they do colors and such. Muted probably isn't the best description of that, but since they've had to make this transition, their old models just don't fit the new art style. And so that's kind of an interesting thing, because then people who have bought skins have their character reworked. And then Riot has to decide, okay, well, are we going to let people keep their skins and use the old models for those skins, or do we rework those skins so that they fit the new art style, but then we're changing a skin that somebody purchased?
Done.
It's quite interesting predicament.
Huh.
Yeah. And I don't know that I have an answer for that. That's just kind of a weird situation. And the only reason
Maybe,
they get away
like-
with it is because it's Riot and it's League.
Yeah. So like they did actually go through with like changing this stuff.
Oh yeah, they've been changing it.
Does anybody have a problem with it that you know of? Or, like how drastically is it
Occasionally
changed?
you'll be like, somebody will be like, they don't really care for the new one. But most people have just accepted it.
Hmm.
And many times when they get reworked, they also rework a bunch of the abilities as well. Like possibly even the way that they, like they'll just scrap abilities and rework the kit entirely.
Oof.
Yeah, that's not that uncommon in League, usually. But I
Oof.
don't really agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, only in dire straits where, like, holy crap, the ability's busted and we just need to nuke it. But even then, I feel like there's probably better ways to do that. Unless it's just fundamentally flawed. In some weird way. Like, it just does something that's too crazy. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, if it's a movement ability that just is too nuts and there's no way to make it, like, reasonable. Like, let's just say it's like a blink. So, like, a teleport, but it's just, for whatever reason, said teleport is just busted. And it's all it is a ranged teleport. But it's not necessarily the range, like, distance of the teleport that's busted. It's, we'll say, the speed of the teleport. So, like, you could maybe add, like, a delay or something. But maybe you decide that's just not gonna... It's just gonna make the character feel bad to play. having a delay on the teleport, we'll just replace the teleport with something else. Like those are kind of weird judgment calls, but most of the time they're not. That's not what they're doing. Most of the time it's just like, oh, this is an old character, we need to rework their abilities. It's like, okay. But League also, like, I feel like half the reason people still stick with League is because they do freaking, like, weekly updates where they rebalance every freaking character. Granted, they have enough characters that they could do that, but... This is a freaking long conversation. Holy frick.
True. I don't know if the next update is just gonna ever be done.
I don't know, but I'm
Just
gonna
like
go get
sitting at 2/3 now.
nice. I'm gonna go get some chicken nuggets.
I'm probably gonna get some food too.
Alright.
Be back.